Assalamualaikum. My name is Aiman Syahmi and I will start our presentation with additional theory for lab 4. Okay, firstly, for the additional theory, when a jet of water flowing with a steady velocity strikes a solid surface, the water is deflected to flow along the surface. If friction is neglected by assuming on inviscid fluid, it is also assumed that there are no loss due to shock, then the magnitude of the water velocity is unchanged. The pressure exerted by the water on the solid surface will everywhere be at right angle to the surface. Consider a jet of water which impact on a target surface, causing the direction of the jet to be changed through an angle. The friction of the magnitude in velocity was across the surface is equal to the incident velocity, and then the impulse force exerted on the target will be equal and opposite to the force which gets on the water to change the direction. Okay, next for the objective for this experiment, the objective is to measure the force exerted by a fluid impinging upon a flat plate or hemispherical surface. Next, to compare between theoretical force and actual force exerted by the jet. And lastly, to demonstrate that the force of a vane is proportional to the rate of delivery of momentum. Okay, for the procedure, firstly, the apparatus is first leveled and the lever brought to the balance position as indicated by the tally with the jockey weight at its zero setting. Second, note the weight of the jockey and the following dimension: diameter of the nozzle, height of the vane above the tip of the nozzle when the lever is balanced, and distance from the pivot of the lever to the center of the vane. Okay. Thirdly, replace the cylinder and screw the 90-degree deflector onto the end of the shaft. Next, connect the inlet tube to the quick release connector on the bench. Water is then admitted through the bench supply valve, and the flow rate increase. The flow rate increase to the maximum. Replace the top. Replace the top plate. Replace the top plate on the transparent cylinder, but do not tighten the 3 kernel nuts. Okay, next, using spirit level attached to the top plate, level the cylinder by adjusting the feet. Next, replace the 3 nuts, then tighten in sequence until the built-in circular spirit level indicates that the top plate is horizontal. Do not over tighten the nuts, as this will damage the top plate. The nuts should only be tightened enough to level the plate. Ensure the vertical shaft is free to move and it is supported by the spring beneath the weight pan. With no weight on the weight pan, adjust the height of the level gauge until it aligns with the datum line on the weight pan. Check the position is correct by gently oscillating the pan. Next, place a mass of 50 grams on the weight pan and turn on the pump. Lastly, open the bench valve slowly and allow water to impinge upon the target until the datum line on the weight pan is level with the gauge. Leave the flow constant. Observe and note the flow behavior during the test. The mass flow rate is established by collection of water over time interval. Further observation are then made. Numbering are made at a number reducing flow rates. About 8 readings should be suffice. Plus, the best way to set the condition for reduced flow rate is to place the jockey weight exactly at the desired position, and then to adjust the flow control valve to bring the lever to the balance position. The condition of balance is thereby found without touching the lever, which is much easier than finding the point of balance by sliding the jockey weight. Moreover, the range of settings of the jockey position may be divided neatly into equal steps. You should collect water for at least 1 minute to minimize timing error. Repeat this procedure by adding an additional 50 grams incrementally until a maximum mass of 50 grams has been applied. Repeat the entire test for each of the other two flow deflectors, conical cup and hemispherical cup. That's all for procedure. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adeeb and I will continue this presentation of experiment the Impart Jet with result and observation. So for this experiment, we can get 3 results, which is first we can get the data of the plate target, second the data of 120O cup conical target, and lastly the data for hemispherical target, cup target. Okay, so I continue to the observation. For the plate target, the highest velocity, which is U, is 4.679 when the distance y is 0.0 meter, and where the lowest value of 0 is 0 meter per second when the distance y is 0. For the UO for plate target, we can get 4.605 meter per second when the distance y is 0.04, while the lowest value is 0 meter per second when the distance y is 0 meter. The actual force value of actual force F for plate target is 1.570 Newton when the distance y is 0.04, while the lowest value is 0 Newton when the distance y is 0. Okay, next I will continue for the 120O cup conical target. So the highest velocity we can get for U is 4.093, while the highest value of velocity for UO for 120O cup conical target is 4.008. Both distance y is 0.04 and both have the same lowest value, which is 0 meter per second when the distance y is 0. The highest value of theory force F for 120O cup conical target is 1.570 Newton when the distance is also 0.04, while the lowest value is 0 Newton when the distance y is 0. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, next we go for calculation. Okay, on calculation we are using equation mu equal to m over p times a. So we can get a 3 graph based on this equation, which is the first graph is force versus mu. The second graph is graph conical cup target versus distance, and the third graph is hemispherical cup target versus distance. So based on these 3 graphs, we can discuss that there were difference between theoretical and actual force. There were a few errors that might affect the data collected during the experiment. Firstly, the condition of the instrument, hydraulic water pump bench, poorly maintenance of the hydraulic water bench surface of the water reservoir affect the stream of the water, causing the irregular flow of the water. Presence of impurities in the reservoir and fluid like dust disrupt the flow of the water through both wires. The pump also doesn't show a consistent flow rate as it increase cause the difficulty to maintain a steady flow in order to measure the height as a steady flow of water. The condition of the pump which produce a vibration throughout the batch also cause the water to have an inconsistent flow throughout the experiment. The presence of the leakage at the batch also affect the water. Even if the leakage is minimal, it still affect the result of the experiment over the time due to the loss of water. From the result, we assume that the error occur during this the experiment. There are some of precautions should be taken. For example, avoid shaking water bench so that the water level is set to a balanced position during the experiment. The measurement taken using eye can make error, while reading measurement is need to avoid. Okay, that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Anas bin Kusairy. I will explain about the conclusion of this experiment. First of all, this experiment was successful as main objective achieved. We got to measure the force generated by a jet of water striking a flat plate, conical cup and hemispherical cup. And then we can compare the result with the computer momentum flow rate in the jet for the experiment. Then that we also understand the principle of an impulse turbine such as petrol wheel turbine. Based on this experiment, we can identify some errors in when we do this experiment, such as percentage errors stay on the table make it difficult to compare between actual and theoretical value. Besides that, the experiment could be the unsettling of measurement equipment and the propagated uncertainty in calculated theoretical impact force. As the experiment had many errors, there will be suggestions for improving the apparatus. First of all, maintenance need to be done as frequent as possible since the machine has been used for quite some time. This is to ensure that the machine still function accurately. Besides that, the water density might vary due to impurities in the water that might alter the rate of delivery momentum, because the density of water is no longer 100 kg per meter cubic. That's all for me. Thank you.